So, do you remember the disaster that was Cyberpunk 2077 on the PlayStation 4? Yeah, that rough launch left a scar. So it's understandable if you feel a little anxious hearing that the game is now playable on the handheld Nintendo Switch too. But you actually do not have to worry. This version is surprisingly stable and in many ways more complete than what you'll find on other platforms. When The Witcher 3 made its way to the original Switch, it was a bit of a miracle. Nintendo's hardware was already underpowered back then, so basically a toaster in gaming terms, but yet somehow CD Projekt Red managed to make it work through some clever tricks like minimizing textures and squeezing the assets down. So it ran, sure, but it was a far cry from the experience you'd get on a PlayStation, Xbox or PC. But that's not the case with Cyberpunk 2077 on the Nintendo Switch 2. This time around it runs at a full 1080p resolution, delivering a smooth 30 FPS in quality mode and even a 40 FPS in performance mode. Though that 40 FPS option only works when connected to a TV with a variable refresh rate. So technically the Switch 2 screen supports this as well, but CD Projekt Red didn't enable it, likely to conserve battery life. In terms of performance, it holds up about as well as the patched up PlayStation 4 version, after all the fixes that came post-launch of course. But the visuals, they're actually a step up. The PlayStation 4 version ran somewhere between 720p and 900p, while the Switch 2 version looks notably sharper, thanks to clearer textures. That boost in image quality isn't just from optimization, it's also powered by DLSS, which helps upscale visuals without putting too much strain on the hardware. As a result, this version gets surprisingly close to what you'd see on an Xbox Series S. Of course, it doesn't reach the graphical heights of a Series X, PlayStation 5 or a solid gaming PC of course, but let's be real, no one expected it to. But the fact that it looks this good on a handheld, that's seriously impressive. And even though it technically looks a bit worse when undocked, the smaller screen hides that downgrade pretty well. So you might compare this experience to something like the Steam Deck, which can also run the PC version. We didn't test it on every handheld out there, but in our sessions the Switch 2 felt a bit more stable than the Steam Deck OLED surprisingly. It held its frame rate better and even ran at a higher resolution in handheld mode. CD Projekt Red also added some nifty new features exclusive to the Switch 2 edition. All the menus now support touch control, so you can manage your inventory, skills and stats just like you're swiping around on a tablet. Even the Netrunner minigame, which plays out like a virtual dungeon, is fully touchscreen compatible. There's also gyroscope support through the Joy-Cons, which offers two main control options. One is motion control, you tilt the controller sideways to strafe or to lift it up to heal, pull it towards you and you'll perform a melee attack. It's subtle, not like the exaggerated waggle controls of the Wii era, but the more interesting use is what they call mouse mode. Place the right Joy-Con flat on a surface and you can aim just like you would with a mouse on a PC. It's the most precise way to play, assuming your setup is comfortable. Yes, it technically works on your jeans, but don't expect that to feel great over long sessions. A coffee table or the edge of your couch works better, but again, only in short bursts. So in practice, most players will switch to mouse mode during intense firefights, then go back to analog sticks during quieter moments. And if you're wondering, yes, you can still use the regular action buttons during mouse mode, which is great because the mouse input is only for aiming and shooting. This means you can still interact with NPCs and navigate the world without accidentally blasting someone in the face. CD Projekt Red calls this their ultimate version of Cyberpunk 2077, and it's easy to see why. Not only does it include the gameplay tweaks and visual polish, but it also comes bundled with the Phantom Liberty expansion. You can choose to start the game from the beginning or jump straight into the expansion. Perfect if you already played the base game before, though for newcomers, starting at Phantom Liberty might be overwhelming due to all the lore and terminology. And yes, cross-saves are also supported. That means that you can transfer your save file from your PC or console and pick up right where you left on the Switch 2. But it also raises the question, would you want to pay $70 again for a game that you may already own? In reality, this version is probably best suited for people who never played Cyberpunk 2077 on another platform, or those curious to see what all the fuss was about. And those players are in luck. They don't have to deal with the broken launch version, because what they're getting now is a surprisingly polished and fully featured handheld experience. Though if you ask me, I enjoy this game more on the PC. But that might just be me, but I feel like this is really a PC type of game. but I'll leave it up to you guys. If you only own a Nintendo Switch, it's a very polished version, and I didn't experience any stuttering or whatsoever. So let me know what you're gonna do. Are you gonna buy it? Have you already played it? And what is your experience if you did? Let me know, drop some comments, like the video if you enjoyed it, maybe hit the notification bell so you can stay updated on all my latest videos, and thanks for watching once again. I completely enjoy all the support I get on this channel, so hope you guys will stay around, and I hope to see you next time, and have an amazing day. Bye.